What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we are back with another day of Breaking Bad-tober. Today we're looking at the 9th episode of Season 5, Blood Money. Now, the episode opens with a flash forward again. Walt's house is abandoned and has been fenced by the police. Walt returns home, noticing the graffiti in his name. He then retrieves the ricin from the outlet where he left it. As he's leaving, his neighbor Carol sees him. She is shocked that he's just appeared after being gone for so long. After the title, we jump back to the present. Hank is in shock after learning that Walt is Heisenberg. He takes the leaves of grass book as evidence and then makes an excuse that he's sick. As he's driving home, though, he has a panic attack and crashes the car. Later, after returning home, he tells Marie he's fine and not to tell Skyler what happened. He then goes through the evidence on Gale's murder, comparing the handwriting to the note in the book. He confirms that the note was written by Gale, cementing his suspicion of Walt. Meanwhile, Walt is working with Skyler at the car wash. He suggests to her that they buy a second car wash in order to help launder more money, and we can see that Walt hasn't completely left behind his empire mindset. Lydia then arrives at the car wash, telling Walt that the purity level of the meth has dropped significantly since he left. She asks him to come back and help, but he refuses. When Skyler learns who Lydia is, she intimidates her into leaving and never coming back. We can see that Skyler is actually very formidable when she wants to be. The next day, Hank doesn't go into work. Instead, he has the work brought to him, including all the files on Heisenberg. He goes over all of it, connecting the dots, including looking at a sketch of Heisenberg that resembles Walt. Meanwhile, Badger and Skinny Pete are at Jesse's house getting high. Badger is going on and on about his Star Trek fan script, but Jesse couldn't care less. Instead, he leaves with his money and goes to see Saul. He tells Saul he wants to give half of the money to Kaylee Ehrmantraut and half to Drew Sharp's parents. Saul warns him that this will bring unwanted attention, but relents when Jesse threatens to do it himself. However, when Jesse leaves, Saul calls Walt. Walt tells him that he'll handle it, and we can see that Walt has resumed chemotherapy, showing that his cancer is back. Walt then shows up with Jesse's money at his house. Jesse tells him that the money is blood money, and that he wants it to be used for something good. Walt tells Jesse to stop focusing on the past, and tells him that he's left the business as well. I'm sure Jesse must be thinking, after all that trouble you put me through, you just quit anyway? Jesse says that he believes that Walt killed Mike, otherwise he would have to worry about Mike coming after him. Walt lies and says that he didn't kill Mike, and tries to make Jesse believe him. Jesse says that he does, but we can still see the suspicion in his eyes. Later, the White family sits down for dinner. Walt excuses himself to the bathroom, where he pukes from the chemotherapy. There, he notices the leaves of grass book is missing from the bathroom. He then starts to suspect that Hank took the book, given his suspicious behavior lately. His suspicion is confirmed when he finds a bug that's been planted on his car. That same night, Jesse is asleep in the parking lot of the hot dog place. He gives a homeless man a stack of cash, desperate to be rid of it. He then drives around Albuquerque throwing stacks of money into people's yards, hoping to do something good to make up for the blood money. The next day, Hank is at home getting a new shipment of evidence. Walt arrives unexpectedly checking in on Hank. Though Hank tries to act normal, he's clearly uncomfortable around Walt. Walt finally decides to confront him, showing him the bug. Hank then drops the facade, punching Walt in the face. He reveals to Walt that he knows everything, expressing disgust at what Walt has done. Walt then reveals to him that his cancer is back, telling him that any attempt to arrest him would be pointless given that he's going to die soon anyway. Hank's anger eventually gives way to pure disbelief, not knowing who Walt is at all. Walt then enters Heisenberg mode and warns him to tread lightly. In the flash forward, Walt breaks into his house with a tire iron, the same way Hank attempted to break into the RV.
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed! Bitch!
Walt's license plate is 5BB920X. This is a reference to this being the 9th episode of the second part of the 5th season of Breaking Bad. When their neighbor Carol drops her groceries, oranges fall out of the bag. This is yet another reference to The Godfather, with oranges symbolizing death. When Hank returns outside, you can hear Marie jokingly call Walt the devil.
We're all welcome.
You are the devil.
Finally, this episode is dedicated to Kevin Cardasco, a 16-year-old fan of this show who died of neuroblastoma in 2013. Kevin met with many people on the show, including Vince Gilligan, and supposedly gave Vince the idea to bring Gretchen and Elliot back in the finale. Vince offered to tell Kevin the ending of the series, but Kevin insisted he would watch it on TV, which unfortunately he never got the chance to do. Rest in peace, little buddy. You're writing screenplays up in heaven now. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one, coming soon. If you liked Badger's script, wait till you hear my script for Meadow Soprano Mob Lawyer. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obscracing Media, Daz J-Kit, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, Jenna Marie Johnson, Brad Smith Studios, and Uncle Mike.